What's going on, everybody? Adam with eTrailer. Today we're going to be taking a look at a 2020 Mazda CX-30, and we're going to be test fitting the Yakima JetStream roof rack system. So this is going to be a great way to maybe free up some of that space on the inside of our CX-30 here, just because it's not necessarily the biggest vehicle. So if you have a bunch of people in there and all of their luggage and something like that, it's going to get kind of cramped. So if we want to just stay a little bit more comfortable on our trips, being able to have these bars up here to put a bunch of different attachments like a cargo basket up top to hold all of that cargo is definitely going to be a plus. But it doesn't stop there. We do have a lot of other attachments we could do. You could throw a kayak up here, you could throw a couple fishing rod holders up here, and also of course we could haul a bike up here as well. If you guys aren't really looking to get a hitch installed and wiring and all that, so you guys can put a bike rack back there or a cargo carrier, I do think that this is going to be the best bet to get what you guys want done. I don't necessarily love having some length added to my vehicle with some of the attachments that you put into your hitch. So if that's something that concerns you, putting these up on your roof is going to get it done. You guys don't really have to worry about that wind noise or anything like that, because we do have a nice aerodynamic shape. It kind of looks like an airplane wing, so the air is going to travel pretty nicely up and around these bars, so it's not really going to affect your fuel mileage that much. The nice thing about it is we can get a bunch of different wraparound accessories on here. I know Yakima has a really cool roof mounted basket, but the cool thing about it is we have options. So if we take this cap off, we have a little T slot here, so we can go ahead and use all those T track accessories as well. The nice thing about this one is we don't have to trim all of the rubber that's in this little channel here. All you really need to do is kind of just push it down and then slide your accessory along there. So that's going to just make it a little bit easier to get those attachments on if they are T-slot, but also when you don't have anything on, we're still going to have that rubber in there, so we're not going to get that whistling noise with that air coming in there and trying to penetrate into that channel. With that rubber there, we're really not going to have a whole lot of issues. And when it comes to issues, we're not going to have any issues when it comes to corrosion and stuff like that. These are aluminum bars, so they are going to resist against rust and corrosion naturally, but they do have a nice powder coated finish. We picked the black ones just because of our black CX-30, but we actually do have some silver ones online as well. Both are going to have a weight capacity of 165 pounds, so check your owner's manual of the CX-30, make sure it can handle that weight, and then just be mindful whenever you're loading all of your gear up. So the foot kit does come with multiple different types of these rubber feet here. I picked the one that has a little notch right here, but for your other vehicles you will have the option of picking the other rubber foot as well. And we actually have fixed mounting points in our CX-30 here, so I just use the furthest one up, the furthest one back. But there's one other one right here, so if we needed a narrower crossbar spread, we can use that as well. I did have to take this big trim piece out, so just be mindful that you guys might need to grab a trim tool. We have them here at eTrailer to take that out and to get these installed. In regards to what I would add to this system, I really highly recommend getting some locking cores. They don't come with it, but it's not a whole lot just to give you a lot of comfort whenever you're on the road. I just like to make sure that my things are going to stay on my vehicle when I'm not around them, and that locking core is definitely going to do it for you. But if you guys really don't want to ride your vehicle with these on all the time, if you're not using them, it is really easy to take them off. All you got to do is just open up that cap on both sides. It's going to release it from the foot kit, so then the bar itself can just easily just come up like that. You don't see that a whole lot. I kind of like it just because I wouldn't mind just driving with these on there, and they do actually give you guys caps too. So if you guys are going on a long trip, you don't need the bars up top and you want to maximize your fuel economy, I think just taking maybe even a minute just to take the bars off and put this cap on is definitely going to be a plus. But that's just my 2 cents. It's all about what you guys want, and hopefully we went over everything that these are going to be great for. But one thing we haven't yet is how we install them. You saw how easy they come off. they're pretty easy to install as well. So let's go ahead and show you. First thing that we're going to want to do, if you guys haven't already, we're going to have a little trim piece right here. It's going to sit in the gutter of our roof, and I recommend grabbing one of these trim tools. We do have them here, but we're just going to find a spot and start snapping these up. It's going to be one every so often, and then one on the end here. And once we get it all up, snap this out just like that, and we can put this to the side. Once that trim piece is removed, we're going to see our options for mounting. We're going to have one here, we're going to have one down here, and then a third out back. Depending on what you guys are going to use your roof rack system for, that will determine which ones we're going to use. I'm just going to use the furthest one up and the furthest one back. And then we are going to have two different types. So we have one little rubber piece, and they are removable like that. But this one, as you can see, is nice and flat. But then there's going to be another one. It's going to have a little divot, and that's the one we're going to be using today. And it's just going to kind of contour to the curvature of our roof. So be sure to pick the right one, and we won't be using the other rubber ones. But all we got to do is just line it up just like so. We're going to have a bolt and a washer right here. What we want to make sure and do, the washer is going to be concaved a little bit, so we do want to make sure it's going to be curving up towards the head of our nut. This is how we want our washer to be, and we're just going to fish that through, down through here, line it up the best we can, and we're going to use the provided tool to tighten this down. Get it nice and tight. We don't want to make it too tight and strip out our threads here, but we do want to make sure it's really tight and seated in there properly. Make sure that rubber kind of curves around our roof like that. And then we can go ahead and do the same exact process for all four of our sides. So our next step here is going to be involving our feet. So what we're going to do is going to take this little plastic piece. You can see there's little teeth on the little plastic piece, and then there's teeth on the inside of our feet here. So we're just going to lay it in like that and push it down. It's going to snap into place, and then we're going to have access to that little screw right in there, little threaded piece, and then we're going to take our little T-slot adapter like this, and we're going to kind of set it in there like that, and then we're going to have a tool, so then we're going to flip it over, and we're going to have to maneuver it around a little bit to be able to get this visible. But once we do, we're going to start threading it in a little bit, just until the little metal piece is threaded in enough. And then we can go ahead and take our bar. We want to make sure that our cap is going to be facing the outside of the bar. And we're going to go ahead and just kind of slide it into that track, just like that. We're going to do the same exact thing for the other foot on the other side of our bar and for both of our bars. When we're going to put these on our roof, what we want to do is fold that cap out just like that. And we're going to go ahead and place it up onto our roof and fit it into the slots. Get it on that side, and then get it placed in onto this side. And as we close this, you'll see it's pretty cool actually. When we close it, we're going to have these things come out, and that's going to lock it into place. Very quick, very easy. So just like that. Now's a good time to get the measuring tape out, or just give it a good look to make sure it's nice and even on both sides. I do think we have the right amount on each side, which is great. And another thing we need to make sure of is the larger portion, the thicker part of our bar. We're going to have a thick part here and a little bit thinner part on the back side. We want the thin part facing back and the thick part facing the front, just because that's going to help with the air moving along the bar. So now we have it all into place. We're going to take our tool and we're going to tighten this up until we hear a click, just like that. And then we can go ahead and close this up, and that's going to lock it into place. So we're going to do the same exact thing for the other side and our back bars. So now all that's left to do is put our caps on. Just put them in there like that, push them on, and we're done. Well, everyone, that just about does it for a look at the Yakima JetStream roof rack system on our 2020 Mazda CX-30.